You don't need it, you're already beautiful, Em said sweetly as they handed my sister the $15,000 I had spent years saving for my wedding. Fast forward 8 years, and my butler stepped into my writing studio. Mrs. Martinez, your sister is at the front gate. She's here about her divorce attorney bills. I didn't glance up from the manuscript of my third best-selling thriller. Tell her I'll be down in half an hour. She can wait in the foyer. I laid my fountain pen beside the still glossy page and looked out the large windows. The waves of the Pacific slammed against the cliffs beneath my Malibu home. I owned a piece of the coastline now. A far cry from the days when I couldn't even afford a beach parking pass. And it all began when I learned that being pretty wasn't nearly enough. I was 24 when it unraveled. Jake and I had been engaged for 6 months, planning a humble ceremony in the town where we grew up, nothing extravagant. Just close friends, family, and the vineyard where we shared our first date. We'd scraped together that $15,000 over 2 long years. Every bonus, tax return, and birthday check had gone into it. That money represented more than a wedding, it was our shared future, made real. That March, I stopped by my mom's place to finalize catering. But instead of menu options, I found my mother and sister Vanessa in the kitchen, financial documents scattered across the table. "What's all this?" I asked, immediately recognizing the bank logo. Mom didn't look at me when she said, "We need to talk." Vanessa, always dissatisfied and 2 years older, folded her arms. "I'm getting some work done next month." "What kind of work?" "Nose job, lip fillers, breast implants." She rattled them off like items on a grocery list. "Dr. Hartwell says he can do them all in one go, with a recovery package, for 15 grand. The number chilled me. That's exactly what's in the wedding fund." Mom gave a soft sigh. "We know. That's why we're talking about it." "Talking about what?" I asked sharply. "That's my money. Jake's and mine." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, Elena. It's not like you need a big wedding. You're naturally pretty, you've always been the pretty one. Then why do you need my wedding savings for surgery?" I snapped. She burst out, "Because being pretty isn't enough anymore. You've had guys falling at your feet since high school. You got Jake without even trying. Some of us have to work for attention. By stealing my wedding money?" "It's not stealing," Mom chimed in. "It's borrowing. Vanessa will pay you back." "When? How?" I demanded. "She can't hold a job for more than a few months." Vanessa didn't flinch. "Once I get the work done, I'll attract someone wealthy. Then I can pay you back, double." Mom squeezed my hand. "You don't need the big ceremony. Jake loves you as you are. A simple courthouse wedding would be enough. But Vanessa needs this, it's her shot at a better life." "An investment," Vanessa echoed. "In my future. My happiness." "It's surgery," I said, stunned. "You already have everything," Vanessa spat. "A loving fiancé, a beautiful face, a perfect life. All I'm asking for is a chance to catch up." I turned to my mother, hoping she would see reason. But instead, she slid the withdrawal forms across the table. "I've already approved the transfer. I'm the co-signer, Elena. The deposit is due tomorrow." "You already did it," I whispered. My hands trembled. "You took our wedding fund." "Borrowed," Mom corrected. "This is what families do." "You'd do the same for Vanessa if the roles were reversed." "No," I said coldly. "I wouldn't. Because I'm not a thief." Vanessa's practiced tears welled up. "See? She's always hated me. Perfect Elena, always looking down on me. She doesn't want me to have love. I don't resent you having love." "I resent you taking what doesn't belong to you," I shot back. Mom's tone hardened. "The money's gone. It's done. Now you can choose, stand by your sister, or destroy this family over money." I made my choice. I walked out and never turned around. Jake's face twisted with fury when I told him. "Sue them. That's theft, plain and simple." "She's a co-signer. Legally, she had the right." "Then we'll postpone it. We can save again." But something deep inside me had broken, not just because of the money, but because of what it meant. My mother had looked me in the eye and decided my dreams were negotiable, but my sister's vanity was sacred. No, I told Jake. I'm done sacrificing for people who see me as a resource, not a person. So what now? He asked. I want to write. It sounds strange now, but their betrayal set something free in me. I had always been the reliable one. The calm, well-behaved beauty who didn't cause trouble or chase wild dreams. I'd earned a sensible degree, gotten a steady job, planned a smart wedding. But once they took all that from me, I figured I had nothing left to lose. So I took what was left from our honeymoon fund and moved into the cheapest apartment I could find. I wrote all night, took temporary jobs during the day. Jake stuck by me for a while. But 6 months in, he gave me an ultimatum. This writing thing isn't going anywhere, Elena. We need to be realistic. Set a wedding date. Go back to a normal life. Normal, like my family, where people betray each other and call it love. That's not fair, he said. I'm not like them. He was right. He wasn't. But he wanted the old version of me. The one who played it safe. The one who didn't demand more. We broke up 2 weeks later. He married someone stable within the year, and had the vineyard wedding we'd dreamed about. I had something better. I had fury that became prose. My debut novel, Pretty Isn't Enough, about a woman discovering her family has been siphoning money from her trust fund, was rejected 37 times. But the 38th agent said, it's raw, angry in a way women aren't allowed to be. I love it. It sold for a modest advance. But I wrote like a storm unleashed. The second novel, The Theft of Tomorrow, gained traction. The third, Beautiful Liars, made the New York Times bestseller list. Turns out, betrayal was my superpower. Spite was my spark. I wrote for the women who were told they were too loud, too much, or not enough. For the ones who had been stripped of everything by people who claimed to love them. Vanessa, meanwhile, got her wish. The surgeries. The influencer lifestyle. The wealthy husband. She bagged a real estate mogul named Richard, who liked his women beautiful and voiceless. For 3 years, she played the part. Posed in bikinis on yachts. Captioned her life with hashtags like #blessed and #livingmybestlife. But Richard found someone younger. Newer. More enhanced. The divorce was cruel. Turns out if you marry for money, you'll fight hard to keep any of it. Vanessa couldn't afford good lawyers. 2 years ago, she called me. Elena, I need help. Richard's taking everything. I thought you were going to pay me back double after marrying Rich? I said, before hanging up. And now, 8 years after she bought herself a new face with my future, she was back, at my gate. I didn't rush. I chose a simple sundress, one that cost more than her cosmetic surgeon. My face was still mine. Laugh lines. Freckles. All of it. Funny how that turned out. The foyer of my house was made to awe, marble floors, sky-high ceilings, a chandelier that scattered rainbows. Vanessa perched on the velvet bench, looking both overdone and diminished. Her lips didn't quite move naturally around all that filler. Elena. She stood up. It's Mrs. Martinez, I corrected. I'd kept Jake's name, for the name recognition. What do you want, Vanessa? I need your help. The divorce. Richard left me with nothing. The prenup. You signed it, so you could marry a man who treated you like an accessory. Her surgically lifted chest rose and fell. I know you hate me. I don't feel anything for you, I said flatly. You're just a cautionary tale I share at readings. The sister who drained my wedding savings to fund a new face, only to discover the harsh truth, beauty doesn't buy belonging. That's harsh, she whispered. No, I said, stepping closer. That's the title of my first bestseller. You should give it a read. Oh wait, you don't read, do you? Her desperation spilled before pride could intervene. I need $50,000, she blurted. For legal fees. To challenge the prenup. Mom said you'd help. Said, you're wealthy now. I laughed, loud, genuine. You mean the same mother who raided my wedding fund because I was already pretty enough without it? She didn't steal it. Don't, I interrupted, raising a hand. Let's not rewrite history. You wanted a shortcut to happiness, and you used my future to pay for it. How'd that investment turn out? Tears streaked down her face, oddly distorting the sculpted features she once paid so much for. I messed up. No, I said, voice firm. You made a deliberate choice. You decided that looks were currency, and marriage was the cash out. You got exactly what that mindset earns. Her lips trembled as I walked over to my desk. I opened a drawer and pulled out a check. She leaned forward, eyes suddenly hopeful, until they caught the number. 15,000, I said. The exact amount you took from me. Not $1 more. That won't even make a dent, she gasped. Then do what I did, I replied. Put in the work. Create your own path. Write your own story, instead of trying to rewrite mine. Her voice sharpened. That's easy for you to say. You were always the smart one, the talented one, the pretty one. I shook my head. Not that day in Mom's kitchen. That day, I was disposable. My dreams didn't matter. My future cost less than your insecurities. I was desperate. So was I said. But I channeled my desperation into something no one could strip from me. You channeled yours into something that could be surgically reversed, or divorced away. She yanked the check from my hand. You're cold. No. I'm successful. And I learned the hardest way that blood doesn't make you family. Loyalty does. Respect does. And neither of you offered me that. I paused, thoughtful. Maybe I'll dedicate my next novel to the both of you. To the women who taught me how not to love. Don't you dare write about this. Too late, I said with a smile. The manuscript is already halfway done. It's called The Sister Who Stole Tomorrow. My agent thinks it's going to be my biggest one yet. You can't. You'll sue? With what money? I nodded at the check. That might get you a lawyer. For about 10 minutes. She rose to leave, then turned at the door. For what it's worth. I am sorry. I was stupid, jealous, and young. And now? I asked. Now I'm broke and still jealous. Her voice dropped. But something's changed. You used to be kind. I looked her dead in the eye. No. I used to be silent. Passive. A doormat you could wipe your designer heels on. You taught me the cost of being agreeable. After she was gone, I returned to my office, where my manuscript waited patiently beneath a paperweight shaped like a broken heart. The story unfolding? 2 sisters. A lie sold as love. And the price one woman paid to buy back her future. Of course, I'd tweak the names and tweak the plot. But the spine of it? The betrayal, the rise, the revenge? That would stay. My phone buzzed. Jake's name appeared on the screen. We'd reconnected years after our split. Ironically, he was now a producer, and he'd optioned my second book. Elena, he said. Did you see the sales? Beautiful Liars just crossed 1 million copies. I saw, I said, smiling faintly. We should celebrate. Dinner? Can't. Writing the new one. What's this one about? I looked past my keyboard to the ocean view I bought with words forged in heartbreak. It's about a woman who learns that beauty alone won't save her. But rage? Rage can build an empire. Sounds heavy. It is, I said. But it ends well. How? I thought of Vanessa driving away with her $15,000 and faded glamour. Of a mother who chose one daughter's insecurities over the other's dreams. Of a wedding that never happened, and the life that bloomed in its ashes. The heroine realizes that the best revenge isn't retaliation. It's thriving in spite of them. Getting everything they said she didn't deserve. Does she get it? I looked around my space, the framed bestseller lists, the publishing awards, the financial freedom built from stolen dreams. She does. And then she writes about it. Lucky her. Not luck, I replied, lifting my pen. Just the right amount of fury, and finally knowing that being pretty was never the point. I ended the call and dove back into my draft. Somewhere out there, another girl was being told her worth depended on her reflection, or how well she made herself small. Maybe she'd read my story one day. Maybe she'd see herself in the pages. And maybe she'd finally understand what I did. When they steal your future, you don't beg them to return it. You write your own, and make it so blindingly bright, they need to squint just to look your way. Pretty was never enough. But becoming everything they said you couldn't be? That's everything.